All right. Hello, knockouts. Tonya TKO here. And today we're going to be talking about my true feelings about Kobe, Gayle, Snoop Doggy Dog, and the dog face bitch he rode in on. Listen, there may be some trigger warnings in here for people who just look. There are a lot of different opinions and stuff floating around about Kobe, Gayle, the whole situation. There's lots of memes. There's a lot of dragging going on, and there's a lot of people who are talking about it already. So I have been asked repeatedly every time I try to go live when I do not want to get in it, because the first thing that people start doing as soon as you start talking any type of opinion that differs from mainstream, people start telling you to shut the F up. Then they start calling you a dog faced bitch. Then they start talking about how you ain't got eyebrows and you fat, you old, you ugly, your wall is dirty. This ain't my house. Yes, the wall is dirty. Yes, I am an aged woman. I am aged. I have no eyebrows and I'm overweight. Fine. All that being said, let's jump into it. Number one, Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gigi, and I believe it was seven other people. There were about seven other people that were on the helicopter that went down, right? And my heart goes out to anyone who faces an untimely death. My heart goes out to any parent that has to bury their child, regardless of the age of the child. No parent wants to bury their child. No woman wants to bury her husband, and no woman wants to bury her husband and her child, regardless of how many times he may have cheated or not cheated or whatever. That was the man she chose to stay with, and she stuck it out with him. And it's unfortunate that he met his demise in a helicopter, being a family man. I'll say this, right? I'll say this, and then I'll jump into the rest of. I'll jump into the rest of it, right? When I first heard that Kobe had died in this crash, I thought it was another internet hoax. The person who had sent it to me confirmed that the information was true. And the first thing that I said to myself inside was, wow, you know, that's messed up. He was young. Second thing I thought was, wow, that means that there will never be any resolution on the rape allegation that came out. Now, for me, I wasn't in the room. I don't know whether he did or didn't or whatever. But what I do know is that it was something that came to the media's attention. And it was something that just really didn't seem like it had a resolution. There was never any closure. So that when this came out, now mind you, I was very young when this came out myself. And so I didn't really know the full crux of everything that went on, right? People had 20 years plus to bring this up with him and get closure or whatever. There were people who were saying about this young lady. So listen, when it comes to rape, listen, especially if you're one of the Black women who are watching this video, about half of you have been raped out there or will be raped in your lifetime, according to statistics. So rape happens, and the way that they show it on TV is very different than the way that it happens in real life. It happens in the quiet in real life. It happens most times without struggle. It happens with someone that you know. I wasn't in the room. I'm not there to condemn. I don't know anything about anything. This is why I decided to not even speak on it, because I know that I have my own opinion, right? From what it is that I hear, Kobe leaked the young lady's name to the media. And because of the threats and stuff that she received, she then pulled out of even going to trial and testifying. What I also hear is that she had multiple semen samples inside of the gyal panty. Listen, listen, oh. Multiple samples of semen in her panty. She was supposedly some sort of something showing people around. I'm going to say this for the record. This I will say, and I will say this over and over and over again. You have every right, if you want to go to somebody's hotel room at 2 o'clock in the morning, you have every right to go there. Even if you're expecting sex. Let's say she's like, oh, I want some dingling, 7 feet tall, however the hell tall the man is. Oh, maybe he got long dingling. Maybe she want to go there and get boned down. If at any point you change your mind, the person has to respect it, mid-stroke and all, right? I don't know what happened between them two. Personally, it ain't none of my damn business. That is the woman that he chose. He chose that multiple semen sample panty having girl to come into his room, and he consented. Whether or not she consented, I don't know. But he consented to cheat on his wife and his family, to dick down some multiple semen panty girl. I don't know anything other than that because he admitted to consenting to cheating on his wife to bone some girl who ended up having multiple samples of semen in her underwear. That's all I'm going to say about that, right? I don't know what happened. That's between them. It wasn't an orgy. She had had intercourse with multiple people in one day and apparently unprotected at that, right? I don't know. I don't know. But I will say this, right? The man is gone now, but there are people who still have questions because there was no resolution to it. It was something that came to the media, and it was something that I believe really hung, because I used to be a huge basketball fan back in the days. I used to be a huge basketball fan. And when all of that, when the thing with Mike Tyson came out, and and Desiree Washington and the way that they treated that young lady and all of the, it's like, as a girl and as a woman, when you talk to your friends and you listen to other people and you see how your family members talk about certain situations, and you hear and you witness and you all of that, sometimes you just sit back and you're like, wow, well, I see how you feel. When the Mike Tyson thing came out and Desiree Washington had accused Mike Tyson of rape, and people thought that it was just so impossible that Mike Tyson, a damn big strong ass boxer who already seemed wild and out of effing control, biting off people's ears and stuff, that it just was impossible that it's like whenever these situations come out, people just act like it's just impossible that it could have happened. And so we err on the side of protecting the male because sex is so easy and so open and so available to so many people, right? That we don't want to tarnish the proposed accessibility of sex to men. Oh, we don't want to tarnish. He should be able, why would he? Right? Then let's jump. Then the Kobe thing came out. After that, I lost something on the inside. When the Kobe rape allegation came out and the way people dragged the young lady and all this, that, and the other, it did something to me and my love of sports and idolizing these people who we do not know. It also let me know as a Black young lady, as a girl growing up in that time, it let me know where I stood if the unthinkable should ever befall my life, right? Let's move on. You know what? Someone is saying it was consensual. We don't know what was what as part of the issue. Let's jump. Let's jump. Gayle. All right. Gayle had an interview with a woman, and Gayle asked a question that is on multiple people's minds. The second thought that I had after finding out that the man had passed away, this was before I knew his daughter was in the crash too, and that there were other people in the crash, the fact that he was gone from this earth, the second thought that was on my mind was the lack of closure for the alleged victim. There are other people who are thinking about it as well. Gayle is what is she, a news reporter, anchor, whoever? And she's talking about things that are on people's mind. A popular topic. First of all, a news station is not a damn, what do you call those books where you read, oh, this person is survived by a mother of this or that. These people are about ratings. They're about ratings. They're about getting people to talk about what's happening, getting people to tune in. This is all in favor of getting people to click so that the advertisers can be able to have some views, some eyes on their ads. That's it. All of this stuff, this content in between is just opportunity for eyes to be on their stuff. That's it. It's not personal. It's not any of that. It's really all about the clicks. A lot of you people out there, a lot of you people out there send me all types of stories that you dislike. Oh, I dislike this story. Tanya, look at this. I said, Magyal, if you dislike it, why are you sending it to me to click on? People get paid by click. All of us sitting up here talking about it. I remember when I saw all those people gathered outside the Staples Center, putting down all of their teddy bears and memorabilia and all that stuff, all this stuff that he can't use, teddy bears and stuff that some lonely child in an orphanage or some foster care could have used but won't be able to because now it's outside on the street with the dust and crying, dead flowers being cut from their home to be tossed down onto the ground in homage to a man who's not here any longer. I remember when I saw all those people out there crying, and I thought to myself, now listen, if you like if you have an issue with controversial thoughts, this might be the time for you to click out of this video because I'm about to get controversial. I'm thinking to myself, have you clicked out yet? Because listen, I don't want to hear your complaints in the comments. My thought is, this is a distraction. This is a distraction. And most people are distracting themselves from their own damn lives. That you're sitting up there crying and wailing over a man that you did not know because of some impact he may have had on your life from afar. I remember the day I buried my mother. I was but 19 years old. I had to take a leave of absence from college to go into the rural South where my mother was from and see, and I remember we were standing up out there in front of my grandmother's house. I had on a black dress, and because I was 19, I wore a mini dress. And because my mother was dead, did nobody say a damn thing to me about it. I wore a mini dress, white out there, waiting for the hearse, the limos to come to take us to the funeral parlor. I don't have much recollection of everything that went on, but I remember I looked up into the sky and it was a cloudy day. And the sun was behind the clouds and it was hazy. And I remember thinking to myself, for a funeral, it was cold, it was hazy, it looked like it wanted to rain, and the sun dare not shine. Let me tell you, listen, the sun dare not shine on the day that I buried my mother. It was a cloudy day, perfect day for a funeral. And I remember when we were waiting for the limos to pull up, I stood there standing in front of my grandmother's house, all of us in procession standing next to each other. I remember somebody came up and took a picture of us. And I remember I stood there in my mini dress with my white stockings and my Mary Jane shoes. And there was another car that passed by and other cars that passed by as we went there, as we were standing there waiting for the limo. And I thought to myself, how dare these cars keep driving? How dare these stores stay open? How dare these people keep walking and life go on as usual when my mother just died? That's what I thought to myself. I said, how dare they? Don't they know what's going on? Don't they know? And the limo pulled up and we got in the car and we drove to the funeral home, and I saw stores were open, dealerships were still selling cars, restaurants were serving people, other people were driving and going about their lives. And I thought to myself, how could this be? that for me in this moment, my life is crumbling and coming apart. And all of these people are walking around as life as usual, business as usual. And I realized that for me, my life was topsy-turvy, but for other people, they had no idea. They had no idea the pain and the torment that I was going through personally. And I say all of that to say, I see these people, I see these people standing outside the Staples Center, crying and wailing and putting down all of these trinkets and baubles and tangible items for a man that they never met, did not know, and are distracting themselves from their own life to mourn. People sitting up there on the internet talking about, oh, I'm so broken up about this. I can't eat, I can't work. And it's like, to me, I'm thinking, what is it in your own life that you are distracting yourself from? So it's like all of us are sitting up here in the middle of this impeachment, and we just crossed over to 2020. Three-quarters of your taxes ain't filed yet. Some of you ain't got enough money in the bank to cover your rent. Somebody's child out there is sick, and on the day that Kobe died, not only did 7 other human beings transition off of this earth on that day too, but I thought about how many other people are standing up outside of their grandmother's house in their mini dress, waiting for the hearse to come. How many other people on that same day sitting up out there who lost their mother, whose baby was born premature and was fighting each heartbeat inside of its chest. I wondered how many people found out they had cancer that day, how many people's fathers lost the battle to cancer, how many people are visiting an Alzheimer patient in the hospital. I thought about all of the people. Somebody's getting run down by a car, some girl in a dorm at that very moment getting raped. And I thought there's a lot of life going on all around us. And we're sitting up here pouring out in mourning over a man that we did not meet and did not know, would never meet. And the only connection that we have is the fantasy that we've created in our minds of who this human being is or was. And we're distracting ourselves. Go do. I want somebody to please go do a search. How many people died in the And if we broaden out the search over that, how many people in other countries were dying at that very moment? Yet we take our focus and pour all of our focus in on one direction. Why? Why? Because he bounced the basketball and his face was recognizable to many of us. Okay, so he had a recognizable face. And it's like we have this selective focus where we choose, oh, I'm going to focus in on this person because I recognize this person was famous. Meanwhile, their neighbor is dying of colon cancer. Their damn bank account, you hear the coins jingling around in there as the doggone rent check tries to go through. People's cars being repossessed. You sitting up there in faux mourning over a man that you never met, will never meet, do not know, and did not know behind the scenes. And so I think to myself, why? What is it that is making us pour all of this attention, ignoring all of these other things? It's a distraction. It's a distraction. It's a distraction. Because there are, and I'm going to say this is going to be non-politically correct. There are people as we speak, who are creating a fund, right? Who are creating a fund for his wife so that she will be taken care of. Why? Because his wife is a precious, feminine, non-Black woman, so she's considered more precious and more feminine. And they want to make sure that this woman is taken care of, and they want to make sure that she is covered, right? And I'm like, we're us, the average people, coming together to do a fund for a millionaire's wife, not knowing what type of life insurance policy he had or what he had in the bank and all this other stuff. And I'm like, what is going on with us in our minds? What's going on with us in our minds? And so people asking me, oh, speak about Kobe. Oh, speak about him. I have no comment. I have no comment on this situation. I have no comment. Well, what am I supposed to say? I didn't know the man. I don't have any personal connection with him. He had a tattered past. He, at the very least, was a cheater. Even since I found out that Martin Luther King was a cheater, I was like, is that so? Really? So let's get to Snoop Doggy Dog. Oh. So, because this video is live, I can't put video in here for me to react to. So I'll just let you all know what it is that I saw, right? So Snoop Doggy Dog comes out, Snoop Lion, whatever the blood clot the man want call himself. He comes out with his granny scarf on his head. He's like, Gayle King, you wrong for that. He's like, you keep my homeboy's name out of your mouth. You talking about this. You don't nobody ask you this, then you keep this too soon, whatever. And then at the end, he's like, I want to call her one. Should I call her one? I want to call her one. Should I? And he's like, Gayle, you old funky dog face bitch. And I'm like, nigga, you 50. You still out here calling women bitches and stuff? You 50. And then dog face at that? Come on, let's talk about it. Is that an insult or a compliment? Because if there's anybody who had a damn dog face, it's Snoop. What the hell are you talking about? Some big, scrawny, scraggly, 50-year-old, chronic weed smoking addict sitting up there talking about you dog face bitch. Really, nigga? Is you serious, you old ass mother effer? Why don't you go sit your bones down someplace? And then he finishes off the sentence talking about, before we come look for you over what? I don't understand. I remember the very first time I became introduced to Snoop Doggy Dog. I'll never forget it, because I had to actually change roommates, as a matter of fact. I went to school in the South. For those of you who know, I went to school in ATL. And I went into the dorm. Now, you know, I'm from the KRS-One Boogie Down production days. Boop, boop, that's the sound of the police. Boop, boop, that's the sound of the bees. Boop. And I'm from the Super Cat days. I'm Caribbean American. I'm in New York. These are the days that I come from. I go down to school in the South. And I hear them talking about, ain't no fun if the homies can't have none. And then bitches ain't shit, put holes and tricks, suck on a knob and suck the dick. And I'm like, what is all of this? And this girl was sitting there in the dorm blasting this music. And I was like, this stuff is terrible. Terrible. And I was like, what is this madness? And they were going on, and I just remember, you know how it's like the first heartbreak? I remember standing in the dorm listening, and I was like, what are these lyrics? I was like, oh, I felt heartbreak. I was like, how could he talk about women this way? That was my first introduction to Snoop Dogg. Calling people all types of skeezers. And then even I remember, because you all are going to know how old I am, because Rage came out. I rock rough and stuff with my eye. You trick bitch. He came onto her album rapping for her and called her a trick bitch. And I was like, this is the way he treats his own damn artist? I was through. I couldn't even rock rough and stuff. I had Afro puffs back then too. I couldn't even rock rough and stuff with my Afro puffs without having to hear all type of bitches and whores and all this stuff. And now here's this gangly skeleton of a man, this long kukum bone scratching together, old man, standing up there with his granny scarf on, calling somebody else, this Doberman of a man, calling somebody else a dog faced bitch. And I'm like, nigga, you cannot be serious still in this day and age coming out like this. And it's like, you all remember just last week we had that hashtag girl dad. Everybody who squirted out a little XY or a little XX. Oh, everybody who squirted out a little girl child. Oh, now all of a sudden we got pictures. Oh, girl dad. It's a girl dad. And then 2 days later, your funky dog fit, and he's a girl dad himself. Gayle's father is a girl dad. But is it only okay when the girl is what? As long as she's doing what it is that you say that she should do, and what is that? Face down, ass up. Why? Because that's the way they like to, and it ain't no fun, what? So it's like, as long as she's doing what you want, how you want, then you have respect for the girls of the girl, or is it that you just have respect for the girl dad, but to hell with the girls? So I'm thinking to myself, this is a grown-ass man. Grown-ass man, a girl dad himself on the internet, calling somebody else a dog-faced bitch. And I'm like, it just, can we not get away from this? I'm like, are we not grown now? Are we not adults now? We got this big grown-ass man. What has he learned over the years about being able to communicate effectively? It's like people were like, it's just the songs that he made. You don't know what he was like behind the scenes. But when he has the opportunity to open up his mouth, when he has the opportunity to give back, of all of the heartbroken Black girls like me that exist out there listening to assaults inside of our eardrum, because I didn't consent to this music. It was just flying around in the air from other self-hating, self-abusing, non-self-loving, unself-caring Black women around me who played this drivel and this trash. Where was his giving back and the recompensance for all of the assaults that he has done over the years? But he's going to sit up there talking about, don't make us come for you. Nigga, sit down. Trash. Trash. Bony ass, gangly ass, skeleton rubbing together. 50. How old is that fool right now? Because I think he's about 50. But he ain't a jail 50. He's a freaking chronic smoking, marijuana ingesting, lungs full of tartar having 50-year-old boy, man child. What has he really ever done to repair any? It's like, I don't know. Because he's good to sit up there and talk about how Gayle is a dog-faced bitch and don't come and get her. What you gonna do, son? What you gonna do? I remember part of the reason that I relented to go ahead and do this video is because while I was doing something, and the videos were playing on autoplay, cocaine snorting too. Was that the truth? Oh my. And Chrissy's video came up, and it just so happened that she was talking about Kobe. And then she mentioned Trayvon Martin and how Zimmerman is still walking around, but nostrils burning, deviated septum having, gangly, old bag of bones is going to stand up there talking about, don't make us come for you. It's like our community is in panic, but he didn't say nothing about coming for doggone Trayvon's killer and that man who was killed. So let's say maybe Florida is just too far away. All right, well, let's go to California. The guy who was murdered in Fruitvale Station, the father who was murdered in Fruitvale Station, Did Snoop and the OGs pull up and handle that situation? It's like we are here suffering in our communities. And the leaders of yesteryear, because by the time your black bony ass gets up to 50, if you ain't done shit yet else for your community, what the hell have you done? What have you done? So it's like our community is in tatters. We're hurting and in pain and all this other stuff. But then, oh, he has the ability to come up there and threaten a black woman doing her job. Let's say she, look, okay, so she brought it up. There's people who want to know. She worked at a news station. She wanted to know. She wanted to know what was going on. She wanted to know. That's her station, her business. Caucasians have a bee in their bonnet about this old rape thing and all this, that, and the other. All right, so we live in a majority Caucasian country. A Caucasian girl was at the end, the multiple samples in the semen panty having girl is one of their own, and they're concerned about what happened because the Me Too is coming and grabbing all types of people out the woodwork. So okay, so they concerned, or what was happened? Oh, it was a question. All right. Gayle's job is not to be a eulogy. Gayle's job is to be able to create content that's going to bring in the numbers. That's what her job is. If Gayle doesn't bring in the numbers, she doesn't have a job. So now here he is threatening her, and people are saying that, they threatening the woman's life over what? Meanwhile, the cops who killed Tamir Rice still walk. The cop who killed Sandra Bland still walked. Amber Geiger's getting hugged up at the damn courthouse. So we sitting up here, it's so easy for this big black ass, bony ass, dog-faced, Doberman pincher, deviated septum, smoky, functified man to sit his bony ass up there and talk about don't make us come for you. But meanwhile, anybody could come for anybody. And he's sitting back there with his fake gangster self, saying nothing. What has he organized to keep South Central safer? What has he done to avenge the deaths of people who were wrongly killed? All Gayle did was ask a question. Now he is putting it out there to his followers. All he's doing is putting it out there to his followers. The threat. And I'm like, okay, go ahead. Anyway, listen, I'm going to take a few questions because I wasn't reading the comments as I was talking, but I'll take a few questions now. So if you have some questions, you can go ahead and ask your questions now. Listen, hold on. All right, so I'm waiting for questions. All right. Name calling, you were doing the same as Snoop. Okay, that's fine. Yes, I am. Yes, I'm doing the same as Snoop. So I didn't criticize him for calling her a name. Go on. I didn't criticize her. I didn't criticize him for calling her a name. My critique of him is that he has a 40-year history of being extremely toxic and abusive to Black women. Meanwhile, not even protecting his own community, not standing up for people who have done egregious crimes against Black people. Yes. All right, so go on. What's next? All right. All right. And so, listen, somebody saying come for you is just old talk. Hush your damn mouth. Hush your mouth. hush your mouth. We can make excuses if we want, but don't sit here and blow smoke up my behind. And Shay is saying, I think Gayle did her job. I think by having a Black woman who is a great friend of Kobe come on. And I didn't see the interview. So next question. Listen, while we have 300 people on this broadcast, this is my book. The Book of Affirmations, Self-Love. This is a book that helps you rewrite your subconscious programming, like all of the assaults that exist out there in today's music, on the news, inside of our own personal lives. We need to rewrite that programming. And this book helps you rewrite the progressive life with the type of life that you know that you deserve to live. So this is my book, and it's available on the video. So if you go to Amazon and you search for Tonya TKO or this self-love book, you'll see it right there. The direct link is below. You can also go to my website and it's there as well. But the only place that you can buy it is on Amazon because I travel, so I'm not shipping them out right now. And so Nikki is saying the book is awesome. You're waiting for an autographed copy. Okay. And so for me, so your UFB is saying, what is Snoop Dogg doing for the Black community smoking weed? What is he doing? What is he doing? With all of the money and time and stuff that he has, what is he doing? What is he doing? What media, if you don't like ABC, if you don't like the white man's media, what media company has he created? What recording company has he made to be able to help up-and-coming artists be able to come out and not have to sing about destructive lyrics? What has he done? What has he done? And somebody saying, y'all see how they tried to downplay the threat, how a BM tried to downplay the threat against Black women. He'd like a lot of BM. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. And somebody's asking what Snoop's position is. Somebody wonders what Snoop's position is on Cosby and R. Kelly. Yeah, I wonder. And they're saying Bill Cosby supported Snoop via Twitter. Why is Bill Cosby tweeting from jail? Won't he just, I thought he was going blind and had shaky hands and all of this, that, and the other, and was hoping to be able to get out of jail. Won't he just sit down somewhere? Won't he sit down somewhere? All right. So he didn't have this outrage from Martha Stewart when she said the N-word on his show. Lord of mercy. I don't know about all of that. I don't know about that. Cosby's tweeting from jail. Why don't people stop? Snoop might be clout chasing. Who knows? Brandy D because they're smoking too much. You all are so crazy. Listen. And for those of you who know, you go to TonyaTKO.com. It's right there on the homepage. And Renee is saying if Snoop had an issue with how Gayle handled, how he felt about Gayle's job, it should have been handled with her privately and not in the public eye. You know what? He wanted to come publicly and he wanted to try to humiliate her, lambast her, get his followers after her or whatever. I don't know. Me personally, I'm just not invested in it. I just came back from 4 weeks in Africa. You see, I have this beautiful African tan and glow on my skin. I just came back from 4 weeks in Africa. I don't have the desire to come back into the United States. It's time to start talking solutions. It's time to start talking solutions. And as you all know, I am creating a matchmaking service. And I am interviewing and putting men, listen, let me tell you about my matchmaking service. African men, American women, and connecting us two together. That's my matchmaking service. So I just finished another round of interviews today, bringing men into the system. And I'm working on creating ways for us to be able to circumvent all of these issues that are just dead and gone. Divest 2020. I'm tired of having the same conversations over and over and just spinning around in circles. I'm tired. When are we going to do something about it? Because how much longer are we going to sit here? and bang our fists against the ground and continue to talk about people who are not respecting you, who are not who are not protecting you, who are not respecting you, who are not protecting you, who are not investing in you, who have already divested from you, and who are constantly telling you about how they see no need to do any of the above. How they see no need to do any of the above. So it's like, how much longer are we going to sit here? 2020, I'm not making a whole bunch of videos about the same thing over and over with men being fed like birds and baby birds. Of Black women's features. They love Black women's features. It was beautiful to be able to come from a country where 99.99999% of the people were Black and they were married to each other and creating little Black babies. And it was beautiful. People with Negroid features and loving themselves. It was beautiful to come from that. And then come right back over here to come with this dog-faced bitch and all this. It's just too much. It's too much. It's too much. So I'm going to give my announcement of how you all can secure a spot inside of the system. I'm going to give my announcement on how you can do that, and then we'll go from there. We'll go from there. If you're on my are you on my mailing list? TonyaTKO.com/subscribe. Make sure you're on my mailing list. And so, what are the ages? The ages range. The ages range. So, the ages range. So right now, most of the people that are in the system are people who are interested in getting married, who are of that age where they're like, look, I want to settle down. And one of the things that I love about African men is that African men, it is a part of their culture and their custom to get married. There's no, oh, dude, you don't want to give up your player's card. There's none of that. The family members are like, you know, it's time for you to grow up and have a family of your own. And so that's what I'm focusing on for 2020. I'm not focusing on spinning my wheels and going in the same circles over and over and over again, talking about the same people who have divested. When we're talking about, look, in this Kobe, Gayle, Snoop scenario, Gayle is the only Black woman in that whole scenario. Kobe didn't marry a Black woman. I don't know what Kobe did for the community. You know, there's so many people out there who are up in arms, like angry about this whole Gayle thing, talking about they want to trade Gayle from the culture for what? Because this woman has a job as a journalist and is asking questions, talking about they want Nancy Pelosi instead of Gayle in the culture and all that. And what has Nancy Pelosi done to earn a spot at their barbecue? You see this, we're too quick to be handing out plates. What Nancy Pelosi did? Come on. So on that note, you all asked for my opinion, and this is my opinion. That's my opinion. Like it or love it. That's my opinion. And so on that note, you know, I don't like these videos to be too long, so I'm going to jump out of here and I'll allow you to all to be able to share the video. Make sure that you are subscribed. Make sure that you're subscribed to my personal mailing list. If you have questions, you can write to me on my website, and that is that. So listen, on that note, I will see you all later. I hope everybody got a chance to ask their questions, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.